Hello and welcome to this short yoga practice. It's going to help us with transitions. So we're going to work from standing down to the mat with an option to stay for relaxation or move from this shorter practice into the rest of your day. So let's get started. Coming to a comfortable standing position, feeling your feet connected down to the floor. It can help to soften your knees a little bit, tucking the tailbone under slightly. You can have your hands, palms facing out in front of you or gently in towards your body. Just swaying a little side to side, feeling the way the weight shifts from one foot to the other, feeling that sense of connection down through the feet. And then we're going to see if we can come to a nice centered balanced position. If you feel up to closing your eyes, you might do that. Otherwise, just bring your gaze down in front of you, just feeling that contact through your feet down into the surface underneath you. And then from that really anchored, supported position, can we draw height up through our spine? Can we visualize our crown reaching a little taller? Lots of lovely space through the center of our body for our breath. I always like to take a moment at the start of my practice to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that I'm practicing on. So for me here, that's the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I invite you to do the same where you are, honoring the place that we're in, the history that it has, and the history that this yoga practice has, thousands of years of the way these practices have developed and changed and brought us to this point right here. Just taking a moment for that. Can we then draw our breath a little deeper down into our belly? You may even like to place your hands on your belly. Feeling the way as you breathe in, everything fills up. Maybe it expands a little bit. And then as you breathe out, everything releases and softens just that little bit more. Beautiful. Taking one more breath. And then from here, if you're not there already, let's gently move to somewhere where you've got some room in front of you. We're going to take a few rolls down and up. So softening into the knees, letting your hands relax down. You can always walk them down your body for a bit more support. We start by tucking our chin soft through the knees, gradually curling down through our spine. Just taking our time, pouring ourselves over again. We can have hands to the legs or let them hang heavy. Once we get to the bottom, just taking a few movements with the head here. So you might like a gentle nod, yes, just a really gentle forwards and backwards movement. And then a gentle side to side no, just releasing anything that you need to let go of here. Then coming back to center, let's press strong into the feet and roll ourselves back up, nice and slow and steady. Making sure you can keep breathing as you do. Beautiful. As we get to the top, let's take a little bit of a roll here through the shoulders. And then let's go down again, soft through the knees, curling your chin, folding over your legs, nice and slow and steady with your breath. Make sure you can breathe as you do. This time as we come down, you could come back to those yeses and those nos. Otherwise, let's soften a little more into the knees. So really giving ourselves this little shelf to rest our belly on. And then from there, pressing the legs a little straighter to feel more of a stretch through the back of the legs. So let's try that a few times. You can have your hands on your legs if that's helpful. We soften more into the knees and then we lengthen out the knees. They don't have to go all the way straight. We're just trying to lengthen them enough to feel a nice amount of stretch, particularly in the hamstrings here. Beautiful. If you want even more of a stretch in the back of the legs, you could hug your arms around to the back of the calves or the back of the knees. One more bend and stretch here. And then again, let's roll ourselves up. You can walk your hands up the body or let them hang heavy. Nice and slowly unfurling up through the spine. Big out breath perhaps as you reach the top. Breathe whatever way feels really supportive for you here. Maybe another roll of the shoulders. All right, let's take it one more time. Soft through the knees, rolling ourselves down. As we soften down over the legs, this time we can take a little sway side to side. So maybe hands are connected to your legs or the mat. Maybe you hold opposite elbows here and letting the just gentle resting weight draw a little length through the spine. Coming back to center when you feel ready. And let's slowly walk ourselves out, just pedaling the hands away in front. And let's bring our knees straight forwards and down, touching down hands and knees as we arrive, setting up our wrists under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. And let's take some circles here, just circling over the wrists and back again. Up to you how far you go in that direction. It can feel like a lot, so feel free to make them super small if that's helpful. You're sort of creating these circles for the wrists and for the hips. Let's go back the other way a few times. Oh, make sure you breathe as you do. This is early in your day. It's a great way to bring a bit of movement into your body. If it's later in your day, it's a great way to ease out some tightness or tension that's sort of worked its way in over the day. Let's come back to our tabletop and find some cat and cow. So we do a big press up, arching spine tall. And then we do some lovely length in the front of the body, maybe bringing the gaze forwards. So big arch up. We don't have to go as far as we can, just as far as it feels good. Working with your breath in a way that feels helpful for you. Let's go one more in each direction. And then let's come back to our tabletop, really stabilizing the shoulders by pressing up away from the mat. And we want to think about the very top of our spine and the very base of our spine. So we're going to do a little bit of almost like a tug of war between the two. So as we breathe out, we're going to pull back from the tailbone towards the heels. And then as we inhale, we're going to draw forwards from the crown of the head. So inhale, coming forwards to our tabletop. Exhale, pulling back to our child's pose. As if we've got this gentle forwards and backwards pull through the spine, helping concentrate on that sense of length in our spine. Beautiful. Now, this is a great option to stay with if you'd like to. If you're up for a little more strength, a little more engagement, and a little bit of upside down, the next time we pull back, we're going to inhale forwards. We're then going to tuck both sets of toes and exhale up to our child's pose. So we don't have to worry about lengthening out the legs. We've got a nice softness there, pressing the chest towards our thighs. We're then going to shift forwards, down with our knees, easing back to that child's pose. So we inhale to tabletop, exhale to downward dog, inhale to tabletop, exhale to child's pose. If that's not for you, just staying with those pulls back to child's pose. Beautiful. Taking one more in each direction, or two more if you're sticking with that pull back to child's pose. Lovely. Let's touch down with our knees. And then we're going to take a mini roll up to stand. So we're going to come up to a high kneeling position. And then from here, you can stay facing the direction you are. I'm just going to swap so it's a little easier to see. We're going to step forwards with our right leg. So stepping that right leg through, planting it in front. We've got a slight tuck of the tailbone, easing into our lunge. So we're in our low lunge. We can come as far forward as we need to. Back toes can be tucked or flat, depending on how it feels for you. But we want to feel like we're stacked shoulders over ribs, over hips here. Beautiful. Once we've found that place, we can bring our hands interlaced or just touching the sides of the head here. And we're going to come into a little bit of a side tilt. So we want to engage, we want to press down through our legs to create as much stability so we're not wobbling with our hips. Our hips stay quite stable. And then from here, we're going to squeeze one elbow up and one elbow down, coming back to center. And then squeezing the other side, one up, one down. Beautiful. So one side of our ribs squeezes and contracts. The other side of our ribs gets this lovely stretch. And if you've got your fingers interlaced, it might feel nice to kind of move it a bit further down and cradle the very base of your head. Beautiful. Let's do one more each side like that. One more big reach up and squeeze down. Same on the other side. And then what we're going to try and do is come back to center and do a little bit like a rowing action. So it's this sort of figure 8 movement with our shoulders. And seeing if we can kind of cradle our head so it's gently rock side to side. It might mess with your balance a bit. It kind of shifts our gaze around and can make it really tricky to balance in that lunge. If that's not for you, just keep your gaze straight ahead and anchored in one place. Let's do one more each side. Beautiful. Reaching up, just lifting the heart a little bit here. And then let's release it down. Bringing arms down. Let's swap that lunge over. Sending the left leg forwards this time, firm and connected through the sole of the foot, tucking tailbone, easing forwards enough to get a nice big stretch here. Really stable and strong. Once we're feeling settled, remember we want these hips engaged here. We bring hands, if you are interlacing, see if you can get the other pinky finger on the outside so it feels a little odd there. Just good to be a little bit different, shift things up for our brain-body connection. And then we'll come back to those side-to-side movements. Only going as far as you need to get that sense of squeeze and stretch. Because our legs aren't symmetrical, it's going to feel quite different. You might feel when you're leaning on the same side as the front leg, you've got a little more room. And on the back, same side as the back leg, you've got a little less balance. All of that's okay. Just make sure you're breathing as you're going. A little bit of engagement and length down the sides of the body. Beautiful. When you're ready, we can come back to center. And this time, let's see if we can backwards paddle. Imagine you're paddling a kayak and you're going up, forwards and back. Again, if you want to relax your head a little bit more and rotate it with the hands, see how you go. It does add a fair bit of challenge to the balance. Beautiful. Let's come back to center. Our last little bit here, we can lift our gaze, lift our heart just for a moment. Make sure you can breathe. And then releasing. Let's come down. Let's scoot that front leg back around to the back. Taking a wide-legged child's pose this time. Knees out wide, big toes to touch. Bottom settling back. We give our belly and our chest lots of room to fold forwards. Doesn't matter if your floor can reach the mat or not. You can bring your gaze straight down in front of you. You're welcome to stay neutral with your breath for this whole time. Or we can bring a little bit of side reach. We can walk our hands just a little towards the left side of the mat. They can either stay shoulder width apart, or we can spread the left fingertips and plant the right fingertips in between to give us a little bit of a grip there, if that's helpful. Find either version and then see how much softness you can bring. You allow your hips to settle, your chest to relax. Can you allow the breaths to gently come and go? Smooth and steady with each round. And then let's gently walk it over to the other side, shifting slowly over to the right side of the mat, letting your chest, your belly settle. Nothing to force or push here, just allowing that sense of softness to gradually release, like these layers of an onion, tightness and tension slowly easing. And let's come back through center, taking another full breath or two here. And then slowly bringing ourselves up. Let's come over to one side, coming around onto our sitting bones, feet in front, stacking our hands behind, just taking a little sway gently side to side. Beautiful. Let's bring ourselves into butterfly pose, soles of the feet together, knees out wide, taking a moment to just wobble onto your sitting bones to find that height in your spine. We're going to take an active leg strength movement here. So we're going to pick up the right leg, rotating the knee in and the foot out to plant it down. And then we're going to pick it back up and bring it around to where we started. Same with the left leg. We pick up the left leg, spin it around, plant it down, pick it up and bring it back again. Beautiful. Now we can keep the hands on the floor behind us for some support the whole time. If you want to challenge your balance, you can bring them together at your heart. Can be quite a big movement for the hips, so just check that it's working okay for you. Beautiful. One more to each side, and then we'll take a bit of a longer hold. Stepping around. Lovely. All right, the next time that left leg steps out, let's leave it there. Again, squiggling ourselves so our hip feels somewhat connected here. And then we're going to take our right hand to our right shin or ankle, just as a nice anchoring hold there. Softness in the elbow, letting that shoulder relax away from the ear. And then from here, we're going to turn our gaze towards our right shoulder and just tuck the chin down, taking that right arm over towards the back of it. So we want to tuck our nose down towards our upper chest. Now we're not adding any extra pulling force with our hand. We're just resting the hand there and allowing the weight of that hand to bring a stretch down this left side of the neck and the shoulder. Just take a few deep breaths in and out. And then supporting that head back upright. Let's bring our gaze straight ahead this time and take our right ear towards our right shoulder. Coming up and over with that right hand towards the left ear. This time bring the stretch just into a little bit of a different part of the neck. Again, we're not pulling that head down. We're just resting our hand there gently. And if that's too much pressure, feel free to leave it out. Just pop the fingertips down. Taking another few breaths, breathing extra length, extra release. Beautiful. Gently releasing that head back upright, the right hand down. We're going to take some sweep and lifts now, planting right hand next to right hip, releasing left arm long. Inhale, we sweep across the body. As we sweep up over the ear, we can lift the hips high. As we exhale, allowing the hips to come back down. So let's take a few of those. Inhale to sweep and lift. Exhale, release. And you can leave the hips out of it. You can inhale the hand up over the ear without that lift if it's not working for you. Let's take 3 more. Can be a nice part of the movement to watch that moving hand. Bit of a focus for the gaze. And calming back down. Beautiful. Let's swap our legs over. Let's bring that left leg back around, stepping the right leg around this time, finding that anchor, finding that base. Let's hold on right hand to right shin, giving us that anchor. We're going to turn our gaze towards our left shoulder, tucking the chin down, wrapping that left arm up over the top. Just that gentle weight of the hand to bring an extra bit of stretch down the right-hand side of the neck and the shoulders. Breathing smooth and steady here. Beautiful. Let's gently support our head back up. Gaze to center this time, taking left ear towards left shoulder, left arm coming all the way up and over to the ear on the other side. And again, that gentle weight of the hand just resting here. Smooth and steady with your breath. Taking one more smooth, steady breath. And then gently coming upright. Releasing that right leg back to center. Oh, let's take those sweep and lifts actually. Bring that right leg back around. Let's bring our left hand down beside us. Inhale, the right hand sweeps and lifts overhead. We can lift the hips too if we like. Exhale, release it down. A few more like that. Inhale, big sweep and lift. Exhale, release. Working with your breath, each inhale helps open up space. Each exhale returns us softly down towards the earth. Let's take 2 more on this side. Coming back down. And now let's release that right leg around, planting feet flat and wide. We can sway them side to side once again. Beautiful. And coming to bring your feet flat, a little bit wider than your hips. We can hold on behind the knees and take a little bit of a cat and cow type movement here. We can round our spine, leaning back, tucking the chin, and then drawing our belly and our chest forwards between our legs. Taking that movement as big or as small as you comfortably can. Beautiful. Coming back upright with your next in-breath. Beautiful. And here is a lovely place to end your practice if what you're doing next requires a bit of movement and you want to get straight into it. If you've got time for relaxation, we're going to head down to the mat now. So if you're wanting to take a bit of time in relaxation today, let's gently walk ourselves down. As we come down, we can take our knees, have a little squeeze in and out, just create lovely connection between the back of your body and the mat, a little bit of length in the lower spine, maybe some circles here. Beautiful. Planting the left foot flat. Let's send the sole of the right foot up towards the ceiling, holding on behind the back of the leg, the knee, the shin, the calf. Sorry, the calf, the hamstrings, wherever works best for you. And just taking some circles with the toes here. Just a few times in one direction and then the other. Coming back to neutral with the foot, a little bit of a hug and the squeeze, a little bit of length in the back of that leg. Can we send our in-breath to wherever that tightness is? Wherever we feel that stretch the most. Let's soften into that knee, bring it down, and we'll swap them over. Sending that foot flat, the other foot extending towards the ceiling, taking hold behind the leg somewhere for a few circles in one direction. And then the other. A little bit of engagement, just drawing that leg back towards you enough to feel that nice amount of stretch. Breathing extra space there once you find it. Beautiful, gently releasing that knee, bringing the foot down, and finding the best place for you to relax. So one option is to bring the feet wide on your mat and rest knees together. Another option is to bring soles of the feet together and knees back out wide into that butterfly pose. Or you might send your legs long along the mat or come to a comfortable seated position. Wherever works best for you, finding your way there now. Allowing your hands to rest on your body or gently beside you. And allowing our breath to be our anchor for this time in stillness. Feeling the firmness underneath us of the floor, of the earth. Allowing our body to sink and settle there. Allowing each breath. Just inhale, gently expanding our body. Exhale, allowing us to soften and settle here in this present moment. Anytime our thoughts take us off elsewhere, we can gently notice that thought and shift back to that next breath. Inhale, noticing the sensations in our body. Exhale, resting gently here. I invite you to stay in this resting place for as long as you have today. Taking the time you need to rest, to rejuvenate. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for joining me for this practice. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.